Knock, knock.
Amin, good to see you, buddy. Come on in, have a seat. We're loving the show.
Fantastic show. John's always raving about it.
Oddball seems to have really found its footing. It's flourishing. It's a big hit for us. We love the chemistry. The way you and Charlotte work together, seamless.
Seamless. No seams. If I were a pair of slacks, I'd be like, where are the seams? I can't find them.
I'll be honest, to be heard and seen and appreciated, it means a lot to me.
Which is what makes the following so difficult.
What?
We've decided not to renew your contract.
You're canceling the show?
Oh, no. We love the show.
Love it.
We love Charlotte.
She f***ing rocks.
We just think we could do better with the co-host.
A lot better.
Hold on, wait.
We got a guy.
Welcome to Oddball. I'm Charlotte Wilder. This is my new co-host, Larry O'Brien. Larry, say hello. We might have to get you some powder. You're a little shiny. You're telling me MJ didn't have the flu?
That story's old as hell.
I just have a hard time believing that LeBron didn't invite you on the banana boat.
How the hell is he supposed to ride a banana boat?
Did Kobe, offer you a leather jacket? I've never heard anyone say that about Jokic.
All right, that's a pretty good story. I can't lie.
Larry, you're too much. This is a little awkward. Welcome to Oddball. I'm Charlotte Wilder. That's Amin Elhassan, who
Now you need me.
Yeah, we had to hire you back. Turns out Larry can't talk.
That might be a problem.
Yeah, he's an inanimate object, which we got overexcited. It's media. It's something you see something new and shiny, you just go for it. Thanks for coming back, buddy. It wasn't, for the record, none of it was my decision.
No, they made it infinitely clear.
Yes. Okay. Well, do you want to talk about Denver Wolves?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. You're such a good sport. Because
you seem real happy, by the way, with the switch. Just want to throw that out there.
Well, I was doing a lot of heavy lifting. Literally, Larry's 30 pounds. So the Wolves destroyed the Nuggets last night.
Yeah.
The score was 115-70. This was historic because it was the largest playoff win in Minnesota history. It was the largest playoff loss in Denver history. There was a 20-0 Wolves run in the first quarter. This is also the largest playoff loss ever by a defending NBA champion. Minnesota's bench outscored Denver's bench 36-9. Denver shot 7 of 36 from three. Amin, what do you make of this?
We can make a hat or a brooch. No, look, by the way, those 9 points the bench scored, that happened in extended garbage time in the fourth quarter. Going into the fourth quarter, nobody had hit a shot from the bench. It was terrible. There was no other way to say it for the Denver Nuggets.
Right.
They played awfully. And you know how I know they played awfully?
Yeah.
Because the Timberwolves didn't shoot that great early either.
Right.
And they were still whooping their ass. And I think one of the things that, we showed that graphic of biggest losses in NBA playoff history. This isn't something that happens often in the modern game, right? Like there was one in 2009, one in 2015, and then every other instance on that list was like 1956, 1977 or whatever.
Right.
So we don't get this type of ass whooping. And then compound upon it, this is a closeout game. This wasn't game one or, game three or whatever. This was Denver's opportunity to say, okay, playtime's over. Mm-hmm. Let's get on with our lives and get ready for the next series. And instead, they're getting ready for a game 7.
Right. And, Minnesota, they did play well. I mean, it was more of a Denver collapse, it felt like, than a Wolves win. But how terrified were you when Anthony Edwards fell on his back and was on the ground for a while and holding his lower back?
Dude, let me just say right now, basketball gods, we've given you enough sacrifices. Don't come for our young ones now.
I mean, the only reason he did get up and keep playing is because he's 22.
Young. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he were a decade older, if he were 32, that would have been just straight up bedridden
Oh yeah,
for a week, right?
Oh, he'd be out. He'd be out.
These playoffs have already been marred somewhat by some of the injuries and stuff, and we're getting great performances, but we can't lose Ant. He's way too important, not only to this team, but like to this series. I want a game 7 where he's out there. I don't want him to be nursing a sore back or anything like that.
Also to the league. He's so charismatic. He's become such a confident leader. Also, he's been the reason that Jamal Murray can't really do anything for the Nuggets. He is.
Well, Jamal Murray says it's neither here nor there. And it's funny because
really,
because he was asked about it and he was like, I think I have a harder time trying to guard him than I do getting guarded by him.
Okay, fair. Which is an honest answer.
Yeah, like, hey, it's hard work running around chasing this guy.
Right.
Jamal Murray also had an incident where he banged up, I believe, his elbow, and he's talking about, they asked him, did it get better throughout the game?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it the initial shock and then you feel better later? And he's like, no, it pretty much hurt the whole time. He put some numbing cream on it, he said, so they could just extend and not feel pain doing that. But the reality is, what he said is like, look, everybody's hurt.
Yeah.
Ant got hurt tonight.
Yeah.
So, like, we're at a place where you're either playing or you're not playing.
Right.
And there's no such thing as, well, I'm hurt, which I appreciated personally as a more direct, honest, candid answer rather than Jalen Brunson saying, I'm fine. Like, why? Because I know there's no shortage of surrogates who are going to let us know he's not fine, but he's such a hero.
The one thing I will say in Brunson's defense for that answer, I feel like sometimes, like, he just didn't want to talk about it. He was like, this is like, I'm fine. Like, I can't, the emotional energy it takes to tell you about my injuries is really just.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Sure?
He's not mad.
You don't seem fine.
He's not mad. He's fine. Jokic also had a sense of humor about this somehow, which is interesting to me because he looked really pissed standing on the side. He was standing up the whole time. Let's play Jokic, what he said here.
Actually, we had a 9-2 score, right? It was fun. Didn't look good for them in that period,
I mean,
it's funny. Like our producer said, this has major boss making jokes on the Zoom when everyone has a camera off vibes. But I have a better description for it. Comes from my award-winning podcast, Cinephobe.
Okay.
Get wherever you get podcasts, right? We call this the Doc Rivers press conference. Doc Rivers is amazing at like making media people feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, what a smart question. He does that, right?
Yeah.
Because of that, when Doc Rivers drops like a little corny dad joke or whatever like that,
yeah,
you get like this raucous laughter as if Dave Chappelle just got done doing a set.
Right.
And it's like, guys, relax. And so whenever we get people overly laughing on Cinephobe, we call that the Doc Rivers press conference.
Well, I mean, Jokic is pretty good at that. It's interesting to me, though, because we've been talking about this series, in terms of like, a few days ago, yesterday, I don't remember when, we were like, okay, so there's no answer for Jokic. How do you beat this team if there's just no possible way? Like, Rudy Gobert had done a good job guarding him, trying to guard him. You just can't. And it turns out the answer for Jokic is if the rest of his team just like falls apart, which they did. Also, I feel like Jokic tries to do the, I'm joking around. I don't really care. I want to go ride with my horses.
Yeah. That's great, Jokic.
Thank you.
I thought he was sitting right here with us.
Well, he was for a second. Okay. He transported. But seeing him stand there watching them lose, he cares. How can you not care?
Of course.
How can you not care at this level?
There's like, you can't be that good.
Right.
And not care.
Right.
Like that is kind of a prereq to all of this. Even more so than being 7 feet tall and incredibly skilled and smart and all that. Like, you have to give a shit. And all these guys give a shit. Now, we saw his too cool for school facade drop a bit. Like, oh, okay, all right. But I've never doubted that he cares and he loves playing basketball. Maybe he doesn't like some of the other like pomp and circumstance that surrounds it, but like the answer to how do you beat the Nuggets is like, okay, just make sure everyone else shoots terribly. 7 of 36.
That is.
And by the way, again, some of those were like late bullshit makes.
Right.
Like the first half, oh my God, it was terrible.
Yeah. I saw Jokic on a podcast or something with Michael Porter Jr.
Oh, yeah, Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast.
Does he have a podcast?
Michael Porter Jr. has a podcast.
Everybody has a podcast. I mean,
everybody's got a podcast. Everybody got a podcast.
but he said he was like, when I'm done playing, I don't want to be famous. And he said, I also, one of my goals is not to have a phone. And I was like, that is aspirational.
Yeah.
That is same, honestly.
Yeah, no.
Nicola, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Have you ever forgot your phone at home?
Oh yeah, I go hours at a time forgetting
Really?
I have a phone.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
If I'm outside my house and I don't have the phone, I just start panicking.
I guess not outside my house.
Okay,
Inside my house.
Of course. All right.
All right.
Let's play a game of Lie Detector. I was about to say, you're lying.
Yeah, I
You're
am.
lying, but we'll play a little mini game of Lie Detector.
What do we have?
Coach Malone edition, right?
Cool.
Which of these statements from Coach Malone about why they lost is true?
Mm-hmm.
Statement number 1, on turnovers. Can't do that in this stadium with this crowd. Statement number 2, not taking care of the ball, not rebounding. We're playing with no physicality and no toughness. Statement number 3, when you're missing shots, you've got to dig even deeper and give greater effort. But that just wasn't the case tonight.
For the first time in the history of this segment, he is telling the truth on all of them. That was an honest press conferencer.
Wow, an honest press conferencer.
He was so honest.
Yeah.
Which I guess a lot of coaches, like when Rick Carlisle, when the Pacers got blown out, he was like, we suck.
Yeah, like when you get your ass beat, like there's not much you can complain about other than your own team.
Doc Rivers might try to spin it, but Michael Malone.
I tried. I don't know. I told them, hey, this is kind of embarrassing. Aren't you guys embarrassed? They weren't.
They weren't. Jesus. Quickly on Game 7. This is crazy to me. I have trouble believing this. On May 19th, on Sunday, this is Kevin Garnett's birthday.
Oh, the ticket.
Former great Timberwolf. Is it singular? Say
the greatest Timberwolf. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. It is also the 20th anniversary of the Timberwolves' first and only Game 7.
Yes.
That feels like basketball gods.
Yeah. That Kevin Garnett played in and won.
My mind's exploding.
Yeah. It all lines up. The Game 7 kind of dichotomy is pretty interesting because you have on the one hand, Minnesota as a franchise has only had one Game 7. Although Mike Conley himself has played in 4 Game 7s. And then you have these Denver Nuggets, just this group together played in 4 Game 7s. They played 2.
Really?
Yeah. They played 2 in the bubble and 2 the year before the bubble.
Wow.
And they've won 3 of them. Or no, they're 2-2 in Game 7, excuse me. So this Game 7 is a different animal. Like whatever you think you've learned in the playoffs and stuff, you get to Game 7, and this is probably the game where experience matters the most. Right. We saw this last year with the Kings and the Warriors, and it looked like the Kings were the younger team, the hungrier team, the more talented team. And we get to Game 7, the Game 7's at home. We're in Sacramento.
Like the beam.
And then what happens is Steph Curry lit them up.
Yeah.
Dropped the record 50 points in that game. And you get to see the people who are comfortable because I've been here before. Right. I think it's incredibly important for Minnesota that Mike Conley is the guy who's been there before because he's already kind of like the conscience of this team and like the adult in the room.
Yes, big time.
But like that's a lot. You're asking a lot from, I think Rudy Gobert's played in 1 Game 7. Karl-Anthony Towns obviously has never played in any. McDaniels, Naz Reid, all these guys, Anthony Edwards, they've never played in any Game 7. So we'll see how it goes.
We're going to make some picks later on in the show and bet the show, so stick around. But we have to talk about the Fever and Caitlin Clark for a second because
the ass whoop.
Yeah, big.
Sorry.
No, they did. The Liberty beat them 102-66. Caitlin Clark had 9 points. She went 2 for 8. No, Breanna Stewart had 31 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Blah blah blah. She's amazing. I watched a game. It was super fun. To watch the Liberty. Less fun for the Fever.
Not so much. But like, this is what happens when you go to the worst team in the league. That's how they got the number 1 pick.
I think people are forgetting that. I think people are forgetting that Caitlin Clark is on the Fever because they were the worst team in the league.
Yep.
So they got the number 1 pick.
Yep.
And you can't fix that in 2 first games the next year with said number 1 pick.
Also, knowing that this is, hey, I've never played this level of basketball, but she's never played against this many good players at the same time.
Yeah. Ever. And she was still their leading scorer in the first game. So, 10 turnovers.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
But it is funny that game is the reason why the Knicks and the Pacers got moved. John Hollinger had this tweet, right, where he talked about the NBA made some unprecedented schedule swaps to accommodate the Fever and give them the arena last night because it was already scheduled. But John, way back in the end of April, was like, wait a second. If the Pacers advance in the playoffs, like there's a possible conflict on this date right here.
Yeah.
And of course they advanced and now they're here. And so they moved game 6 to tonight, Friday night, to accommodate Caitlin Clark and their home opener. But that means, Charlotte, of course, that the Knicks, rather than having one day off in between games to rest their injured, weary souls. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. They're not injured. They're fine.
They're fine.
Now they got 2 days to be fine.
You know what's funny, I mean, is I love this. I love that they were like, well, no, this WNBA home opener is scheduled, so NBA, you have to move. It's great. It is funny, though, that they gave the Knicks the one thing that they could really use, which is a little bit of a rest.
And now it's Caitlin Clark's fault, right? When the Knicks win game 6.
When the Knicks win.
See?
When we see that take on sports media, other places, they'll know. Okay, so Jalen Brunson, the Knicks, the Pacers, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to this lovely, mature quote from Jalen Brunson.
I don't give a shit about all this Brunson talk. Oh, okay.
Let's do it. Come on.
Right.
I was always taught by my parents to just never be afraid to fail, whatever the situation is. And so, no matter the high pressure moments or whatever, if you win, great. If you lose, you learn from it.
I personally love that. Great quote, really mature, shows what a leader he is.
Shout out to Rick Brunson.
Shout out to Rick Brunson. We also need to talk about the fart. The fart heard around the world.
We also need to talk about the fart. I don't want to talk about Jalen Brunson being mature.
Okay.
We all know that. I want to talk about farts.
Okay.
So Fred Katz of The Athletic, our friend Fred Katz, reported that there was an epic fart. That's his words, not mine. That helped cut the tension and the cheese before Game 5. That was my addition there. Here's Fred on the Batard show discussing that fart.
It's strung along for, I would say, a lot longer than one might expect. It actually didn't get a reaction. It got pure silence and a look over to that one player. And that one player looked around as if he was being inconspicuous and said with a completely straight face, "Something's up with the pipes in here."
No.
And that got the huge laugh.
That is so good. And in my family, is there a duck in here?
Yeah. That elephant just came by, whatever. Yeah. No, so a couple of things. Fred is not reporting this as like a source told him. He was there for this. He witnessed it.
Yes. I need everybody to know that Amin and I have been texting Fred, being like, tell us who did it. Tell us who did it. And he wouldn't, but he said he did tell us he witnessed it firsthand.
So Charlotte, I think it's time to figure out who did it. Since he won't, Fred Katz won't reveal it, then it's up to us, our investigative journalism wing, who farted. Brought to you by Oddball Investigations.
Do you want to know my take?
Yes.
I think it was Jalen Brunson. I think the person that you least expect to do the fart, who seems really serious, farted. He also seems a little deadpan. Also, I feel like this is not the first time this has happened in an NBA team in a locker room. In terms of cutting the tension.
With
also,
a fart?
Yeah. You know, before a big game, someone farts and they're like, haha, and then they go win.
Yeah, I like the idea that it lingered, that you got an extended fart there. I'm going to say there's a couple of things. At first, before he said it was a player, I thought it was Tibbs.
Well, because Tibbs looks like he's farting all the time.
But Tibbs looks like he has like a 50-50 sharding versus farting ratio. Then I thought Dante DiVincenzo, but I confirmed with Fred that there was no leg lift, no
kick out? Yeah. They didn't do a kick out?
So I thought that was Dante for sure, but no kick out. That's not Dante's style.
Right.
And also, I think he would have claimed it. So I'm going either Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson.
Okay. You know, the funniest one would be Julius Randle. If his big contribution was, I can't play, but I can fart.
A miraculous run to the playoffs, and it's all because Julius Randle.
Just saying.
He farted leftly.
I still think it's Jalen Brunson, which is one more reason to say thank you, Jalen Brunson.
So thank you, Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson for giving us
for
the
farting.
team. For farting. Thank you, Jalen Brunson.
For saving our season with a long fart.
Nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Coming up at the show.
Back when you were just a boy with heart shot dead. Everything is gone to plan because of you. So thank you, Jalen Brunson.
Welcome back to Oddball. It is time for Bet the Show. Bet the Show is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you will hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Hell yeah.
You ready for the first bet, Amin?
I am.
It is Denver, Minnesota. I keep saying that.
You see that for Indiana too, say Indianapolis.
What is wrong? It's like the polis,
the people in St. Paul and Carmel are really upset with you.
Pissed. All right, so the Nuggets are -5. The Wolves are +5 in this game 7. We talked about this earlier in the show. Let's make some picks. What is your prediction?
My prediction is the Nuggets are going to win and they're going to cover. And a lot of it has to do with game 7 experience. A lot of it has to do with having the best player in the series who also did not fall on his back in game 6.
Yeah, that's a good point. Jokic.
And then, look, Minnesota, God bless them. They got that youthful dumbness about them. Like sometimes the way they play. Even last night, I'm watching the game and they've got a 20-point lead. And some of the shot selection, I'm like, why are you rushing into a contested transition 3?
Right.
Like just like string them out. I don't think they're going to do the right thing. I think they're going to try and be home run hitters and then it's going to blow up in their face.
I feel like the Wolves are too young to know what they don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I would put it. I'm with you, but I also think that the series has been crazy, so I wouldn't be shocked. My initial prediction was Wolves in 7.
Wolves in 7, there
so
you go.
I think I have to take the Wolves. I have to, even though I also said they'd sweep. So, I've been wrong before. Mavs in 5. What do we have next?
All right. We've got Pacers, Knicks, win by 5 or less. That's plus 215 on DraftKings.
Really?
Last 2 games in this series have been decided by 30 points or more, but the games before that were all really close. Are you betting that either team will win by 5 or less? Will this basically be a close game, Charlotte?
Yes, I would take that bet.
Yeah.
I would take that bet. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I think, the Pacers know that this is, you might say this is a must win for the Pacers.
I was going to say that, the blowout already happened before game 5 in the locker room. Yeah. Another fart joke.
Gonna play with diapers on?
No. You got to free and clear. Paul Pierce style.
Oh, gross.
And just roll with the punches.
Oh, well, I think Josh Fart is going to have a really good game.
Maybe it's Isaiah Fartenstein.
Yeah, I think that they're both going to be they're going to blow everybody out of the water.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of substance there, but there definitely seems to be a lot of sound and fury. All right, last one.
Okay, this next bet is about a game we haven't talked about because, frankly, Game 6s are not as exciting as Game 7s, but it is an elimination game for the Thunder. They play the Mavericks in Dallas. Dallas is up 3-2. A win sends them to the Western Conference Final, and Shea is the only player who didn't struggle to score in Game 5. So would you take the over or the under that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander will have 31.5 points in Game 6, over or under?
You said he's the only player to not struggle to score in Game 5. Does he ever struggle to score? Ever?
No.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. Take that over, 31.5, easily. Like you said, closeout game.
Right.
So they're fighting for their lives, right?
Yeah.
They won the last time they were in Dallas, right? They won Game 4. So this isn't like uncharted territory for them. They know they've got to get it to Game 7 to get back home in front of their crazy color-coordinated fans.
Their T-shirt wearing fans.
Yeah. I think he's going to play great. Either Dallas hasn't had any answers for him. It's just the question, is everyone else going to?
Who do you think is going to win?
I think Dallas wins.
Yeah, me too.
Look, at some point, this experience.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like a broken record, but it's so important, man. It's so important. Then again, didn't seem to be that important last night. In Denver versus Minnesota, so who knows?
Well, we'll see. We've got such a great weekend of basketball coming up. I'm so excited.
How weird is it that we don't have any games on Saturday? Or do we do? We do have a game on Saturday, don't we?
Dallas?
Yes.
Yeah, we do because of the.
This is Thank you, Caitlin Clark
for giving us some basketball on Saturday.
And you didn't fart before your game. That's why you guys keep losing.
We don't know that though.
That she didn't fart before
We have
the game?
no confirmation.
This is a call to help, a call to action. Where's my camera? Right here. if you or anyone you know is inside the Indiana Fever locker room.
And that's all the time we have. Thanks for watching Oddball.